1 second here. We'll be covering the popular SDL2 API. It's a wrapper around it. The SDL2, as most people may know already, it's the simple direct media layer, and so our presenter is going to be Michael Fiano, who's going to be hopefully covering some of this in more detail. Michael, take it away.
Oh, well, you put me on the spot. I wasn't actually prepared yet. But
I understand.
Before we start, is this going to be recorded for YouTube?
It's already. The stream just started.
Give me a minute or two here.
Okay, no problem.
Why don't we start with something else, Ron? Something that you were going to do, because I gotta reboot and disconnect my monitor because I have a dual display and it's not going to look right at all.
Okay, that's fine. So in the meantime, while Michael is setting up, I could let me switch over and give you guys a couple of announcements. Just to start with, the Lisp Game Jam will begin next week. So it's from the April 9th to the 19th. Registration is already going on. I will go ahead and post those the site information on the YouTube video that we're going to be recording, and I will also post information about some of the libraries that we'll be covering today. Let me just quickly switch something off here, and let me do this. Okay. And switch over to my Emacs. If we can start up here, just 1 second. And let me just do this. Second, switch. And let me go ahead and share my screen with you folks. So before I do that, let me just show you guys what CL-SDL2 is. CL-SDL2 is a lower level library, as I mentioned before. It's part of the Lisp Games higher level organization, which is a org that keeps track of and maintains a bunch of these different small libraries for game development. It was a wrapper that was designed around, like I said, the STL2C library, which is a very popular library for cross-operating system, cross-host graphics development. It was the successor, or actually it was, I wouldn't say a rewrite, but kind of like a superset over the original STL 1.0 library, which is still a little popular depending upon if you guys are using libraries like Lisp Builder STL, which is still based on that. But this has a couple of nice conveniences that makes actually upgrading your code from STL1 to STL2 to be pretty useful. Of course, you can go ahead and check out listgame/SDL. I'll post SDL2. I'll post this in the YouTube description. But it's more or less a very thin wrapper around the SDL2 API. What that means is while there might be a couple of conveniences with relation to resource management, particularly freeing your window handles when you're actually executing with some with macros, in general, the library itself maps. Michael, you would say one-to-one with what the SDL2 documentation actually says, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It might be missing a couple functions, but I haven't really noticed much at all that's different.
So let me go ahead and share my screen here. I have an Emacs buffer already available to actually get this in. Now, as with anything, this is available in Quick Lisp, so you could do a quick load STL2. And this guy, what? Wait a second, I thought it was there. Hold on.
No, it's SDL2.
It's just STL2, thank you. I was going crazy there. Okay. That's it. All right. This takes a bunch of other libraries that it uses, some dependencies, particularly Bordeaux threads, JSON, PPCR, and so forth. Why is it using CL-JSON as a dependency? Huh. It's interesting. I never noticed that.
Probably because autorep depends on JSON, because autorep is really designed to be used with any programming language.
Okay.
Not just Lisp. It basically generates either XML or JSON binding specifications.
Interesting. 1 second.
As far as I understand, I'm not really too familiar with it all. I think it's kind of a complete mess, actually, but it is what it is.
That's totally understandable. That's fine. Common Lisp libraries, or just libraries in general, regardless of language, tend to be written for a particular purpose. So I'm not too worried about things being designed a particular way. Let me just pull up something here, because I'm forgetting some of these couple of things. Okay. Let me just switch over to one thing here. Let me just bring this out. I'm sharing the wrong screen. Give me a second here. On the stream, it's sharing my Hangouts instead of the other thing. So let me just go and switch to Emacs. And go OK, because the stream's a little cleaner there. I just noticed. Give me a second. And I'm just, for folks on the stream wondering what I'm doing, I'm just switching the stream layout to make it a little bit clearer on what's happening in my Emacs buffer, because it looked kind of like crap when I was doing it earlier. All right. Now, as with any library, the first thing that you'd probably want to do is know how to open up a window. Now, this is pretty simple. I'll go ahead and create this little function called CreateRender here. That will have a width and a height. SDL2 provides a very nice, well,
The
CLSDL2.
first thing you want to do before you create a window is initialize SDL2. So I would create another function called I don't know, initialize or something.
So with init will give you a mag. We'll do that for you, right?
Oh yeah, okay. If you know what you're doing, I don't use any of the with macros or any of the threaded stuff because it's kind of buggy in SDL2.
Oh, in CLSDL2 or SDL2?
CLSDL2.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, good to know. I did not realize that. Thank you for letting me know about that. I I was familiar with that when I first started out and looking into this, so I didn't realize that that was the case. Okay, so initialize. Let me see if I remember correctly. This one will take different flags, right?
It takes a list, I think. No, it takes just a set of flags. So if you do just the keyword everything.
Oh, that's perfect for right now.
That'll do everything.
I do have a question, if I can. I see that RAM is using SpaceMac with. It seems that there is a SLI underneath.
Yes,
but
that's
SpaceMac supports only Slime, as far as I know. So how do you did it? How did you do it? Sorry.
There is a layer for SLI that I wrote years ago.
Okay, so it's not on the official distribution.
No.
Okay, and where do I find it?
We have Luca, I can send you the recording. But we actually recorded how to actually set this up a while back.
Okay.
If you want, it'll take me a minute to actually go hunt it down. If you just just give me a second here. It was in our YouTube channel. Let me just pull it up here. Just give me a second.
Thanks.
No problem. And for other folks who are watching, I'll post this link on how to set up SLI with SpaceMax in the YouTube description too as well for later reference.
So your initialize function should basically just call SDL2 init and then your create window function.
Oh, got it. Okay, give me a second here. Just
yeah, take your time.
Go to YouTube Studio. To search for this guy in the channel. Here we go. Copy link address. And there you go, Luca. I posted it in the chat. That is the video to how to set that all up.
Okay.
And it'll take a bit of time. I suggest when we're done, you can watch that and then set up your environment.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Okay, so you're saying that I should call CreateRender here. cut this guy out because I don't need this. Just do,
yeah, that'll just be your top level function that you call from the REPL or whatever.
Right. And this guy does CreateRender, WH. And what in CreateRender does is, if I remember correctly, there is a not initialized window. It goes, dang it. What was it?
Now, there's two different ways to use SDL2. You could use their 2D graphics API, or you could just create a GL context.
Right. So I think for the time being,
I'm not familiar with the former.
Okay, let's do the latter then.
The latter is not. It's not good for the scope. For the stream, it would be tons of boilerplate.
Okay, let's start with the former then, and then go from there and see how far we'll get to before I'm be like, I don't know what this is.
I can help you a little bit on the way there. I mean, I've done it before. It's just been so long.
Okay, so I don't know if you said you don't use the width macros, so I've never used SDL2 without the width macros.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, let's do it without the width macros because it sort of better exemplifies SDL2 as far as matching it up to the API because there's no macros.
Right.
So what you want to do is okay. I would just give me a sec. I'm looking at my reference here. Okay. So you probably want a class first.
Okay.
Probably want to define a class, call it like window or display or something like that. Just going to hold state for the window.
Okay. So you want to create a class, you said. Def class window state, I'll call it for the time being. And this will consist of...
Ram.
Yes?
Your Emacs is not showing on YouTube.
Whoops. Wait,
Okay, maybe there's a bit of a delay, but it's showing now.
Okay, sweet. For a second...
It's showing Michael's avatar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It took. I mean, I've been. I noticed it earlier, and I was like, oh crap! I got to switch this over to my Emacs buffer. So I switched it over a while, about 5 minutes ago. So there's a bit of a delay there, unfortunately, that I'm not in control of. Okay, so in here, I'm guessing we'd want in the window state, you'd want to have a window handle, right?
Yeah, it's called renderer.
Okay.
In DL2 terms. So you want the renderer slot, and you might want a refresh rate slot.
Okay.
And that's good for now. We can skip the rest.
All right, so let's do this. Shoot, I'm having a brain fart right now. What am I thinking? You said a renderer and a refresh slot. Okay. Let me just go ahead and do this.
Yeah, just make them accessors for now.
Yeah.
You don't need that to be an init form, though. Wait, yeah, you do. Okay, never mind.
Do I need an init form or an init arg? I think I need an init arg, right?
No, you don't want an init arg for that.
Okay, got it. Okay, init. So I'll just make an accessor to this guy.
Yeah, just make an accessor for renderer, that's it. No init form. No nothing else. And just a refresh rate, that'll work.
Okay, so init form, let's say, the refresh rate is a number, right?
No init form for that. Just make it a reader and, or an accessor and an init arg.
Okay. Accessor, refresh.
Well, actually a reader, because we're never going to change refresh rate.
Right, once we've initialized it.
Oh, you already have it. Just change the accessor to a reader.
Sorry. I'm messing this. Okay. So this is a reader, and then I need to put an init arg. Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
Refresh rate. Okay. And.
Okay, and Yeah, just change your create window function to make window state or something, just to match the class.
Yeah.
That's gonna basically be a make instance for that class.
Okay. And
So
hold on 1 second. I messed up. I need to get my buffer back.
oh, you know what? Let me just double check on something first.
There we go. That's fine. Let me just do this. Okay.
You probably want a resolution in your class too, actually.
Resolution.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna make this a lot simpler. Quick load STL2 kit. This is just you know, some helper stuff for working with CL-SDL2.
Okay. So now that I have STL2Kit, I'm assuming I have to do this. Here. See something. All windows, window height, STLWindow, initialize, STL.
The package name is actually kit.SDL2.
Oh, okay.
Kit.SDL2 : init.
Okay. Wait, oh, I got it. This has to go up here. Okay. So here...
you don't actually need that. STL, you can get rid of that. The initialize SDL2 init call there, you can remove that whole line.
This guy?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I'm confused. Let me look at your code. I'm trying to watch two screens at once here.
You're talking about line 12 or line 3?
Line 3.
Ah, okay.
So you can get rid of that whole function, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now let me look. Okay, and oh, I see. Okay, so right after that line.
This can take no arguments?
Yeah. That's good, like that.
Hold on, what is the signal? Oh, by default it's average. Got it. Okay.
And then you want to call to SDL2 in main thread.
Oh, I have to call SDL2 instead of kit.SDL2?
Yeah.
Okay. In main thread.
And it takes an empty set of parentheses.
Okay.
And we'll fill the body in later. And after that call, do kit.SDL2 start.
Okay. Kit.SDL2 start. Okay. Oh, this guy isn't actually needing these either.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you don't need those there.
Okay.
Okay. So that's basically our top level function.
Got it.
Now we have to actually go ahead and, you know what, rename that function to just like, call it like start or something. And then we'll make another one called make window state.
Got it. And I'm just going to stub this guy out for the time being. Basic constructor for Windows state. Okay. All right. And I'm assuming in the window and in the main thread at some point, this guy will be called, right?
Well, something else would be called.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, you can. Let me see really quick. One sec.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. What do I do here? Let me see if
I'm just double checking for you. Hold on a sec.
I'm looking at the API documentation myself.
Well, it might be a little bit different with STL2Kit. Okay. Okay, so let me see what you got. Okay, so in make Windows state,
Okay.
what we want to do is make an instance of your Windows state class.
Let the
No, you don't need to let find it. It's just going to return that.
oh, okay. So make instance. Make instance Windows state. And I'm not with the refresh rate being, I'm guessing, like 60.
Actually, do it on a new line because this is going to get long.
Okay.
Yeah, to refresh is going to be the nth value. Nth value.
Nth value.
3.
3.
And call the function SDL2 get current display mode.
SDL2 get.
No, it's a function.
Oh, got it.
Nope. Call the function. Don't pass a pointer to the function.
Oh, got it. So SDL2 get. Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
Get current display mode and pass 0 to that to indicate the first display connected to your computer.
Okay.
Obviously, you'd need more advanced logic if you have multiple displays.
Right. Okay.
And what this function does is it returns multiple values indicating various properties of your display hardware. Okay. And the third one of those is going to be the refresh rate.
Got it.
Okay, so that's the refresh. What else do we need for that? The renderer.
The renderer doesn't have an init arg.
Yeah, we're gonna skip that one. You know what? In the class, we probably want to store a couple more things, such as we have the resolution, right? Okay, I would split the resolution up into width and height. It'll make things easier later.
Got it. Resolution, height for this guy. I'm just going to shorten this here for the time being. Res height to make it easier on me.
And width.
Okay.
And probably want to store the title of the window in there too.
Yeah. Here. And I'm guessing we'll never change it after we create it.
Right.
So let's just call it title basic STL2 window. Okay. For the time being. All
okay, right. And now your def class there?
Yeah.
You know what? Remove the res height and res width slots. Just get rid of them.
Okay.
And sorry about this. And remove the title slot.
Excellent. So
and,
we just.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I realized STL2 does something pretty cool. Just inherit from the class kit.sdl2 :window.
Ah, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, and that should be all we need for that. Compile that if you haven't already.
I think I just did, but do that.
And then in our make instance, let me see what we got. So yeah, window state. Okay, the title, we pass in the title. It's a slot from kit.sdl2.
Okay.
So you can pass in the init title. Yep.
Basic window. Okay. And
for width and height, it's actually called W and H.
Got it. Width is let's say, I don't know, 320. Should be 640 by 4. Yeah.
240.
240 is what I'm looking for. All right.
And we got the refresh rate. Yep. Okay. So that should be good right there. You can compile that one.
Now I'm assuming in the main thread I have to call this guy.
Hold on.
Actually, not this. I think I have to do let. I have to do a let binding around the main thread because this is holding the actual window state, right?
Okay. I would make this a low-level function.
Okay.
Make window state, just like prefix it with %. Because we're going to have another one. This is bad. I'm sort of designing this as I go here, so
all right, that's fine.
About all this indirection.
No, that's okay.
So make another function called make window state without the %. Because we kind of want to do something after the classes, the instance has been created already. So rather than restructure everything, we'll just do it like this.
Okay.
So this one is going to actually let bind a variable called display and make it call the % function.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. And then we want to set f.
I'm assuming the renderer.
First, we want to set we want to set kit.sdl2. This is a function call. Kit.sdl2 idle render. Idle dash render of display. That's T. True. And nope. We're still in the set F one. We're going to set another one.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then we want to set renderer of display. That is an accessor, right? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna call a new function that doesn't exist yet called make renderer. and we're going to give it to display. And then we're also going to set F. No, actually, that's good for now. We'll do the rest later. Okay, so that's going to complain because, well, why is the first one complaining?
It's not complaining, it's just warning undefined. Oh, I forgot to redefine this guy. Now I can do this.
So, yeah, above that function, we're going to create the make renderer.
Above the make window state, okay. Make renderer that takes in a display. Okay.
Let bind a variable called flags.
Okay.
That's going to be a quoted list containing keywords accelerated. This will enable hardware acceleration.
Right.
Without, manually using GL. It basically uses GL in the background for all of its 2D drawing API.
Does this automatically give us buffering then for free?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually using GL, but you don't actually use GL yourself. It's all handled on the back end.
Got it.
And I believe you also want target texture keyword. No dash in between, just one word.
Target texture?
Yeah, I believe that's if you want to render textures, which you probably will. Okay, and within that, we want to actually, one more flag, sorry. Present vsync, all one word, no dash. Okay, those are enough features for the renderer that we need. Now all this that we're doing here with the renderer is not needed if you are doing plain old OpenGL, because in that case you would just create a normal window and tell it that you want it to be an OpenGL window, and then you basically do everything with another library called CLOpenGL. But this is, to convince CL-SDL2 that we want it to handle GL for us.
Nice.
And then under that, or inside that let binding, we want to set F the renderer of the display.
Set F renderer. But aren't we're already doing a setup of the renderer here, right? Like
where?
We're returning it.
Oh, hold on.
In make window state. Shouldn't this just be a return value?
Yeah, it should.
Okay, so let me go do this.
Sorry.
It's fine. Okay. So this one should be how do
STL2 CreateRenderer.
CreateRenderer.
And that's going to take a function call to kit.sdl2.
Okay.
:STLWindow.
This doesn't have to be hash coded, right?
Wait, and that STLWindow function is going to take the display.
Got it. Okay, give me a second.
And as a second argument to that CreateRenderer, it's going to take
the flags, I think.
Index is going to be -1. I forgot what this is for. If you want to go look that up, you can. I'm not sure offhand. And then your flags binding. Yep. So that should compile cleanly now.
Give me just 1 second. What is that guy? STL2 create.
That's some old code I wrote, and it's not documented. So.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I mean, this is straight from the STL wiki, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, so if you ever have any problems with CL-SDL2, it pretty much maps directly to the SDL2 wiki's API documentation. So just go ahead and look at that and see what the function takes, and that's what SDL2 CLS.
Okay, so So this function, CreateRender, takes 3 arguments: the window where the rendering is being displayed, the index of the driver to initialize, or if you pass in -1, it will initialize the first one supporting the requested flags.
So yeah, that's what we want.
And then the flags is just, the set of renderer flags that we've specified right now.
Yep.
Accelerated, prevent VSync, target 6. Oh, okay. We can also do, so for folks who are looking at this right now, we're using most of the renderer flags already, but there is another one that you could use, although I wouldn't recommend it just because it could give you some false sense of security that your application is working as designed in a hardware accelerated fashion, although it's falling back to software acceleration. You can specify software as being an option, so it'll do just pure software rendering of your code.
But the API is pretty much exactly the same,
Yeah.
and you're not really losing anything by using a hardware renderer. You're only gaining lots and lots of performance.
Right, exactly.
Because even CPUs that are 10 years old have onboard GPUs embedded in them. So even if you don't have dedicated graphics hardware, you're gonna benefit a lot from doing it this way.
Right. Cool. So we compiled this guy. This guy is now done. This is being set here. So this guy is now done. I'm guessing we do make window state here. I'm assuming right now. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Hold on. Your make window state function.
Yeah.
The real one, not the low level one.
Yeah.
That should return the display binding.
Yes. Thank you. That's a good point. Thank you. Display. Yeah. So this guy is now built. This needs to mean, that means, okay, so question for you. Actually, I think both of them have to be in the let binding. Let me do this. Slurp this guy. Start this up. Do a let display being make window state. Actually, let's just call this win. Make window state. So now we can actually, in the main thread, do what we need to do in there to actually work with this window. And let me spell window right. Then we'll be good. Now this is where we need to write. We're gonna just if we do this alone.
I'm just making sure something is right. That doesn't look right to me. Hold on.
Okay. Am I missing anything in here?
Yes, actually. Okay. So you call init, and then you call in main thread, and then. Okay, so you want to actually call make window state inside of in main thread, not outside.
Got it. But that's, that's returning something, so I'm gonna have to do this. Okay.
Well, you don't even have to let bind it because that's all it's gonna do. It's literally only. Actually, we probably want a main loop function.
That's what I was thinking. So you'd have to.
Well, that'll just call like I don't know, run main loop, a function called run main loop, and above that it'll actually just create a window. Call your make window state function. No, I mean like right above your call to run main. Oh yeah, you can define that. I'm sorry. Right above that, you want to create the window, make window state.
Okay, I'll do that. Just give me a second here. Okay, and you want me to do make window state here. Okay.
Yep.
But so I have a question.
We don't even need run main loop because STL2Kit handles that for us. So I'm sorry about that again. It's been a while since I used this STL2 kit, but it really gets rid of a lot of boilerplate with STL2. It might be recommended to start with STL2 kit if you're new to STL2 or CLSDL2. It gets rid of a lot of boilerplate. Otherwise, we would have written about 100 lines already.
Question then. When you do this make window state, since it's returning to display every time, is the main thread going to handle, like, does it take ownership of that display object that gets returned?
Try macro expanding in main thread. Wow. Yeah, forget that. It's really hard to understand there.
So you're making a channel, you're sending a message to the main threads channel. The information related to...
Yeah, forget all that junk. Don't try to understand that. This
okay.
is CL-SDL2's threading code is
right.
very hard to understand and actually pretty buggy.
Well, I mean, I can see what it's doing. It's delaying. It
should be good.
So, let's see here. All right. I mean, that looked pretty straightforward. It created a closure around the make window state return value and then threw it to a thread.
Okay, so now that we, created our display and set everything up,
yeah.
Before I show how to actually interact with the display, it's probably best to try running it.
Yeah.
We won't be able to close it, but that's all right for now.
What? What the heck is this? Hold on 1 second. For some reason, deny. I don't know why it's asking me about those things. Okay. Force quit this guy because the window is open, but it's not actually showing up for some reason. Dang it. Hold on. Gotta go and restart my email, my REPL, because this killed my REPL.
Oops.
Okay. So let me go and reload STL2 kit, which should pull in STL2. Okay. Let me compile everything in here in this guy here. This is a scratch buffer, so okay. So it should display a window, right? It doesn't look like it's displaying a window when I start it up like this. It just pops up an SBL command shell, but that's it. It just took a minute.
Okay, so
give me a second here. I may have to reboot. I can't quit out of this, can I?
Quit out of what? I don't see anything except your REPL and the buffer on the screen.
Oh, you didn't see the white square that showed up? That was 320 by 240.
I saw a black one for like a second. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, that's because when I clicked away from it, for some reason it decided to hide itself. Where are you, you sucker?
Well, you're not going to see it because it's actually not painting that window, so it's probably going to be whatever color is under that window.
Yeah, it was what? It was
It's probably going to be completely transparent, in other words.
Yeah.
Because we're not painting anything inside that window. It's just an empty frame.
Okay. So it's there. It's just that there's nothing in it. So we're gonna have to do something to it. But can I keep that in there? Would it take the same window handle if we start, interacting?
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that probably not, to answer your question. It really takes a lot of fooling around and a lot of boilerplate to make it work nice like that. There's a nice library called that Beggars wrote and Elijah Jace wrote. It's called, what is it called? I want to mention this because it's important to know for people that are using CLSDL2.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta find it. Oh, live support.
Live support.
I forget how to use that, but it's pretty simple. I wish Jace was on. We should ping him.
Yes, we should ping him. Live support. Let me go and
Pull the read me up.
This is going. Let's do this. Do that. Okay. And you said live support, huh?
Okay, so yeah, I forget how to use this. I haven't used it myself, actually. I wrote something sort of similar to it, but it's not a standalone library. Just forget that for now. We'll just, do you know how to restart your REPL if it gets into a bad state?
I already just restarted my REPL.
Oh, I can't hear anything anymore. Hold on.
You sure? Can you hear me? Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my Michael for some reason can't hear me, so I'm just wondering.
I can hear you now.
Okay, sweet. All right.
So I forget how to use live support. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I wish Jace was on, but oh well, we'll move on. So where did we leave off? Okay, so yeah, the first thing we want to do is, let me pull my code back up. Okay, we want to define a def method.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm just going to. I'm grouping all this so that I can later on.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a method on kit.sdl2:render.
Okay.
And it's going to take in a specializer for display. So for your class display, so you could just call it display, a list. Yeah, just do display, and a list like that to specialize on your specific display class.
Okay.
And that's it. And
wait, so window state is the display, right? So let me just rename all this.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No
I
problem.
was reading my code and not reading your code.
I am gonna go ahead and change it. Boom, done.
Yeah, you might have some references to window state in there somewhere.
I got rid of all of them. Nothing like.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is just your display. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the display. And okay, so let me just go ahead and compile all these guys for a second. Oops, I know it's not. Okay.
What was that error?
It's in line 7 here. This guy.
Line 7. Why?
Because of the fact that I didn't load in my REPL the kit.
So yeah, now you're probably gonna want to just reload the whole file.
Kit2.sdl does not exist, but I just loaded it.
Right, it's kit.sdl2.
Ah! Dang it. Thank you. This is why live coding is always somewhat difficult. Okay.
Yeah, I guess there's a few different libraries that fall under the Kit suite of tools for game development that Brian Pavlik wrote, but he no longer, he doesn't use Lisp anymore. So there's a few different ones besides kit.sdl2. I think there's kit.gl and kit.math for various math functions and a few other things. But yeah, it's kit.whatever. So inside that, we basically want to make a call to a function that we haven't written yet called clear screen. And this is what you were looking for. It's gonna, it's gonna be our fill color basically.
Right. And this is gonna connect to the display. You have to specify the display in clear screen, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. I'm trying to translate my code because I did things a lot differently so far than how you did. So sorry
excellent.
it'll take me a few seconds to answer your questions.
No, not a problem. Not a problem.
And after clear screen, we want to call SDL2 render present. Render dash present. And that's going to take the renderer of the display. Yep, looks good. Now we just got to define clear screen.
Okay, give me a second. Define clear screen display.
Yep, and let bind the renderer of the display. We're going to use that a couple times in this function, I think, if I translate my code right. So,
hold on 1 second. I may have accidentally had my caps lock a bit on. Okay.
We want to set F. Wait, no, we don't want to set F. We just want to call SDL2 set render draw color.
Set render draw color. Okay, and let's just, I guess, make it black for now. We can change it.
Wait, I don't think it takes that. It takes a renderer first.
Oh, got it. Renderer and then the RGBA. I'm looking at the signature in my mini buffer. It just took a minute. Okay. That's it.
Black would actually be 000255.
Thank you. Oh yeah, that's right. The alpha is
after
0.
that call, we want to call SDL2 render clear. Yeah, render clear, and that's going to take in your renderer as well.
Okay. Render clear. And I need to take in the renderer. Okay. All right. I gotta remember that I don't have this actually in an actual buffer.
Do Emacs Lisp mode. If you're doing this in a scratch buffer,
yes,
it starts off in eLisp mode, which is not what you want for Common Lisp. So this might make some things easier.
Okay, Lisp mode. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that might just solve some of your problems I saw you were having. So we should probably test this to make sure it's actually make it something besides black. Make it like red or something for now, just to see that our clearing is actually getting called and working properly.
Okay, got it. So this guy is at that. Let me just make sure I got all these guys set up correctly. Yeah, that's default. Redefined, of course. And this is redefined. Okay. Okay. Let's see. The heck?
What happened?
On my screen, it's center and it's white. It's not center and it's red. For some reason, it is.
Okay, put a print inside the clear screen.
Okay.
And put a print inside the render method. Make them print something different and see if either one of those are getting called.
Okay.
This is probably not the best way to debug this, but it's quick and dirty.
calling clear screen. Printf debugging is probably one of the best things to do when you're still not familiar with how to do it.
Also put one in that def method there. Because it could actually be getting called, but maybe the renderer is not set up properly or something like that. So I want to see if either one or both of them are getting called.
And then you told me to put...
that's good. Just try running it now.
Okay.
Nothing?
I think my REPL is locked up.
Oh, jeez.
Give me a second. I gotta restart my REPL. I figured that this would happen, so it's not a big deal. Let me do something before we continue here and restarting it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw everything into an actual
yeah, good idea.
Projects. Yeah, SDL2 demo. So this way I can actually load it up pretty quickly. Okay, and let me just load up this guy. Getting the command right now to compile and load file. Capital C, that's the one. Okay, got it. So this is now available, so let me just do a start since I just compiled and loaded everything. Let's see. Yeah, nothing's getting... Make display is calling... Oh! Where is render supposed to be called? It doesn't look like render is called at all in our code. We're just doing idle render.
What line are you talking about?
In the file, we have we define this this primary method specialized on display to do our displaying.
Yep.
But this guy isn't actually called in either
That's
make
okay.
display.
It's automatically handled by STL2Kit. So, let me see here.
Because none of the functions are being called, which leads me to believe that the primary method isn't being invoked.
Well, the fact that we're making a display.
Mm-hmm.
Make display is setting the idle renderer of kit.SDL2. So kit.SDL2 should be aware of the window or of the display and actually call that method every frame. Let me look at the documentation to see if we didn't screw something up.
Okay.
As far as I know, it looks exactly like my code as it is, but maybe we missed something. Hold on a sec. It's been a while since I used STL2Kit. I could have messed something up.
No problem.
Okay, here's the docs. Examples. Test window. Okay, so you create. Oh, wait. Window. Did we do that wrong? Let me see.
We don't have a GL window here at all.
No, we didn't do that wrong. Never mind. Still looking. Just almost done.
No problem. I'm just letting you know that right now, the way the code has it stands, and again, this is because of my ignorance and unfamiliarity with the STL2 or STL2Kit libraries. I don't see the where we're hooking into the actual rendering the render loop that actually calls the primary method.
Well, it's all handled behind the scenes by STL2Kit.
Yeah, and I figured that
You're
was
not gonna see that.
I figured that was the case. It's just that what's it? Mace never mind. That's because we do start here. That it
So maybe you can help me find it. I'm looking at the examples right now, and I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, sure.
Out of the ordinary. That's different about yours.
This is in STL2Kit, right?
Yeah.
Let me see something here. Maybe I'm missing it.
Because this should be all that's needed.
Shaders, packaging, test window. Here is the basic test window. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, render set has an after method in here. And it's not we set it as a primary method in my.
Yeah, it's probably an after method because they probably have a primary method in the STL2Kit.Lisp file.
So let me do this.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you don't need to. Actually, you can't have an after method because you don't have a primary method.
Oh, I don't.
You don't need a primary method. You don't need an after method though.
Right.
Let me see. Initialize.
Def class. A subclass GL-Window in this example. We did window.
Yeah, I believe GL-Window is a custom class to their example project.
Yeah, more than likely. Go look at the package. Nope. Not this one. Actually, according to the README, to make a new window, you can create a subclass of window or GL-Window and implement the window protocol.
Okay, well, this should not be a GL-Window because we're not using the GL
right.
way of doing things. So let me link you to the code that I wrote that I was following along, and I know that this works.
Okay.
Maybe we can see something different there. Let me send it to the chat. Hold on.
Got it.
Actually, I'm going to Discord it to you because I'm on another computer looking at it, and I'm not on the Hangouts.
Got it.
So I sent it.
See it.
So as far as I can tell, we did everything pretty much the same as this.
State, renderer, refresh rate. You created a thing called make display. You had some global state that you've created that I don't think we need right now.
No, we don't. That's just holding the display so I can, pass it anywhere I need it.
Then, okay. Make display, create an idle renderer, you set the make renderer, and then you add it to that global state. Okay. Created a primary method. You implemented the entire protocol here. It looks like for handling windows. So you provided a primary method for rendering primary method for closing. I mean, this piece doesn't matter, but this certainly will help me prevent.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused why it's not getting called at all. So,
I mean, it's getting
well, make display has to be getting called. Otherwise, we're going to see the window.
Right. So let's do something here. I'm just so interested. Print make display. 1 second. I'm going to also do this. I may end up having to do another restart of my REPL. STL2.
Where do you call? Oh wait, never mind.
It's going to be close window. It's an around method. I'm just essentially grabbing something from your code here for cleaning up. And we do call the render. On our render and okay, let me do this. Let me start Lisp.
This is rather puzzling. I'm not seeing anything that's different. Maybe we just got into a bad state.
There isn't anything different from what we did. Wait. Did I spell that wrong? No, that's render. Okay, render clear is right. Okay. So, just do this.
Try main. Oh wait, your REPL's going to be blocked.
Okay.
Oh, it called something. Oh, that one.
It did call make display, but it doesn't look like it's calling make.
Okay, try setting idle render there to nil instead of T.
Okay.
I just have a hunch.
This is currently going to block up stuff if I don't restart this for some reason. Folks looking in wondering why I'm constantly restarting my list. We haven't actually hooked in the interactivity pieces of the kit, and unfortunately, I'm running the application in blocking mode as a result. Okay, compiled and loaded. Just make sure this is. That's weird. I think compile and loaded would have done all this for me. Nope. Still not calling it. Something is missing in the wiring of this.
Yeah.
We're missing a couple of methods to actually finish hooking this up into the skeleton of STL2 in what it looks like, at least. Let me go look at the documentation. Where are you? Oh, here we go.
Oh, I think I see.
What are you saying?
Just a sec.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, we already tried that. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a pain right now because the REPL's blocked, so we can't run things in the REPL unless we.
Well, I think
unless somehow we bind our we set up a global variable to hold our display. That way we can just CC on a form that takes that binding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of without setting up the full interactivity support, which is going to take a while.
I mean, the fact that we're showing a window, to me, is kind of a good place to at least stop now. This way we can actually fix this and get a better understanding of what's going on in the machinery. Because clearly there's something that we're missing here in terms of the Kit SDL2 window management lifecycle, that we might need to actually implement a couple of functions in order for it to actually work.
Okay.
So we can end this for now. So sorry, folks. We thought we would be able to get clear screen in right now, but it looks like there's a bit of some technical difficulties in understanding what's happening behind the scenes with STL2Kit that we're going to have to take a look into. But that's great for next week. But if you guys actually look at this at the high level, I mean, even if we add whatever functions as part of the window lifecycle is for STL2Kit, what we've clearly demonstrated is with literally less than 100 lines of code max, you have a full-blown window that could do basic rendering. You have a full-blown window that could also, there is a function here that if we add keyboard events here that we could, that I'll show you next time, a more complete example that allow you to interact with your keyboard and do some other stuff. And it's not a lot of code. It's just really a bunch of predefined generic functions that hooks into the management lifecycle that was created by CL-SDL2 and, more importantly, the STL2Kit, which is what we're using today. Is there anything else you want to add? Like, is there other stuff about this library that you might remember, Michael?
I mean, no, not really. Wait, STL2Kit or CLSDL?
STL2Kit.
No, basically it just presents the rendering pipeline in a classy format. Like, there's a render method that you can specialize on. That's called every frame. There's a method called close window that you implemented. That's called when it receives a window close event. There's mouse move events. There's keyboard event methods, and it just presents everything in a classy format rather than having this huge event loop or whatever.
Nice. Okay, so STL2Kit gives you a nice abstraction in a class way for the rendering pipeline. STL2 specifically, though, is a very low-level wrapper that you can literally read through the C documentation and map it to almost an equivalent CL-SDL2 function, which gives you some flexibility. You can actually go through and be able to write some of these lower-level things. But next time we'll hopefully continue on this. Also, I hope that we could get into some of the other things related to some game programming libraries that you might want to use as part of the upcoming Game Jam coming up.
I think on the 11th we have somebody presenting a game engine.
Nice. On April 11th, we will have somebody present the game engine.
But next week we can just continue trying to get this rendering something.
Yes, absolutely.
I would be happy with a triangle or even a red screen at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a little odd because it should have worked, but for some reason it's not. We're missing something here clearly, but I'd rather not waste people's time seeing
the initial, getting something to render is always the most difficult part.
Yeah.
Once you get that going, everything else is pretty easy, as long as you're, familiar with, the math involved with graphics. Like, moving something left would just be an offset vector or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, everything's pretty easy once you can render something. Then rendering is straightforward, and you can just, work on your game logic.
Right. Are there questions from our audience? Richie, Luca, Michael Gargano. Okay. Luca says no. I'm assuming Michael, Gargano, and Richie, you guys are happy. Let me go and double check the stream. See if there's anybody on the stream that's saying anything. No. Okay. So until next week, I'll talk to you guys later. My apologies for some of the technical difficulties that were happening on the stream. But until next time, see you guys soon.
Thank you.